Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Voodoo Brewing Company. I'm really excited about this one. This one is called Really Thin Pancakes. It says a really thin stout on the side. So basically, I think what this is an Imperial version of their Breakfast of Champions, or pretty much non-barrel aged IBS. They called it this because, it's Imperial Stout with coffee and maple syrup. They called it this because some people say that their stouts are good but thin, which doesn't make any sense to me. One, because they're not thin. Two, I don't think that matters that much. I guess nowadays people just want, all those crazy, incredibly sweet stouts. To me, those aren't that thick either, but people think they are because they're so sweet. Those some of those stouts like Angry Chair and whatever have more residual sugar in them than a 2 liter of Pepsi. So I don't want that. I'm assuming that's not what this is because they've never. Their stouts are always huge, but they've never done one that was way overly sweet, which I appreciate. So. And this is 12.3 ABV, so yeah, this can itself is going to pack a wallop for sure. So thin. That actually is, wow, look how freaking dark that head is. That is, that's like browning batter right there. But as you can see, it pours a very dark black with a really dark tan head. That's honestly one of the darkest heads I've ever seen on a stout. It's really, really dark. But I didn't pour it very vigorously, but for this giant of a beer, that you're not going to have a huge head. I actually would think if it had a big head, I would be worried that it was overcarbonated. So, and just looking at it from the top, I know you can't really see from the camera there, but it looks very oily too. So, whoa! Apparently, I just dumped some on the table. If I get desperate, I'll look it up later. Oh wow! I'm actually surprised that. The maple was there for sure, but it's not quite as present as I was expecting it to be. I don't think I don't think the maple is as forward as it is in IBS, or even that it was in Man Bear Pig. It's definitely there, but to me, it's playing more of an accompanying role for the coffee than it is being the standout flavor or aroma. It almost provides. The coffee smells like really, really good quality coffee. It's very, very nutty. It doesn't smell like black McDonald's coffee like some coffee stouts smell like, but I can't wait to drink this and see. I will say it's definitely more coffee forward and less maple forward than I was expecting. And given the nose, I would have expected that, but I'm just saying evaluating the taste just based on my expectations before I even smelled it. Because sometimes the taste is significantly different than the aroma. This is just such a massive beer. I think honestly the reason people don't like this is because it's not that sweet. And when something is this big, I mean, it comes off kind of bitter because the coffee is kind of bitter, but to me, it's not. It's not like ashy or acrid coffee. It's just big, deep, bitter, dark coffee. Um, and I mean, you can definitely taste the alcohol in it too. I mean, there's no getting around that. I mean, it's 12.5%. Honestly, a lot of times what covers that up, I think, is the sweetness, and that's kind of what's lacking here. And I do like the fact, and I know like these guys are definitely using legit additives. Well, I guess I can say adjuncts because maple syrup really is an adjunct. Because like the maple is there to give it flavor, but it's interesting because if maple's in there before the yeast is killed, then you would think it would completely get fermented out and you wouldn't taste it. And you definitely taste it, but it's not really providing much sweetness either. And this is not thin by any means, but I mean it's probably about the same as what the regular Big Black Voodoo Daddy is. I'm assuming this is the same base, just with the coffee and maple syrup in it. It's not it's not thin by any means, but it's not like the most cloying beer that I've ever had. It's fine the way it is. But this kind of makes me think that I of why I would always be afraid of trying. I know they did a keg of Black Magic that wasn't barrel aged the one time, and I was always wanted to try it, which I didn't get a chance to, but I was always hesitant at the same time because I had a feeling that just the beer is so big that that the barrel character actually mellows out a little bit, and I didn't know how it would be without sitting in the barrel. And like this, I really really like it, but I think IBS was just like to me easier to drink because even though you're soaking it in bourbon barrels, it seems to, I guess because it sat for so long, it seemed to round out the beer a little bit. I still really really like this, and I think it's great. But it is a really big in your face beer. But for how big it is, I don't want, it's going to take me probably an hour to drink this, which is fine. Like, for how strong it is, I don't need to drink it quickly. But, I mean, this really is, like, good, strong alcoholic coffee with maple syrup. But, I mean, there is, or I shouldn't say that, actually, because there is some legitimate beer character. I mean, you can taste the BBVD underneath it, but, yeah, it is not. If you're expecting like this crazy sweet, like artificial, in your face maple beer, that this is not that. This is a lot drier. And this is why I want to try Zangief too, which I haven't had, but I heard that that's more dry than Black Magic. So yeah. Excuse me. This was $10 a can, and a lot of people were bitching about that price. I don't understand why, because if it was in a bomber, that would be less than $14 a bomber, which for this giant, huge beer, for as good as it is, I'm not going to say I think it's a steal, but I think it's appropriately priced given the marketplace. So this is definitely a buy. I would like to get more of these. My only worry is like how long is it going to hold up, because coffee and maple syrup, tends to fall off. Not that the base beer isn't good itself, but so I'm probably going to try to get more. And obviously it's tough to drink through these quickly, but at the same time I don't want to sit on them for too long because they'll start changing on me, I'm sure. So yeah, this is definitely a buy for me. I'm going to try to get more of this. Thank God that I have friends who are who bought this up, because I think they actually did make a good bit of this. So if you want this, No one's really trading for it that I've seen, so I mean, you should be able to get it pretty easily. I would seek it out. It's still a really good beer. Yeah, this thing is freaking huge. My God. The only thing that I would, honestly, the only thing I would change about this is the coffee just finishes a little bitter for my liking, but it's not. It is balanced by the maple, even though the maple's not that sweet. But if that bitterness in the end was cut just like a tiny bit, I think it would be it would take it from being great to being like completely top tier. Yeah, this is and I haven't had Morning Delight in a long time, so I can't really compare it. But I think this is probably better than I like that, because that, to me, that's just really sweet too. So, anyways, yeah, that's all I got for this guy. I'm hoping maybe I can get some other barrel aged stuff to do more reviews from Voodoo. Who knows? But please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one.